Explain.
Warming up.
The natural playboy.
Mic test. Mic test.
Sorry.
Test.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's like full bar the whole time. That is weird.
Test. Yeah.
Okay, there. It's moving now. Earlier it was full bar the whole time.
Yeah, I noticed.
Okay, YouTube is running. Okay, Facebook is running. Hey, man.
Oops. And we're just getting links out there to get more people to join.
Yeah, I'm putting the light.
So give us a moment. We'll start very soon.
Cowabunga, dude.
That is certainly pizza appropriate discussion material. Get a preview. Annoying.
Your video looks less sharp today.
I did set it, so it's just bandwidth then.
Yeah.
We did have streaming trouble earlier while watching. Mitch asking about the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. I don't know. It's like
Promising.
it's hard to do a full analysis on a trailer. Then like I think I'd save effort for later, for like for a teaser, for a full trailer maybe.
Hey, Ina.
Okay, I will do the credits thing. One moment.
Oh yeah! Really great!
This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, our little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
It's completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. I keep thinking the light's getting darker. I don't know why. It's a Tuesday, so we're talking about food, and this episode might be something we sort of talked about already before, and that's pizza.
Although I think we talked about it more in the context of like
Cheese.
there is
Because we
that.
did have a cheese episode.
And maybe it also came up again when we talked about my keto stuff.
Yes.
But now we're gonna talk about real pizza, even though I no longer eat like pizza.
Mhm.
Pizza. Okay, so Toby, kick us off.
Sorry, my mouse is super weird.
It's wireless, but the wire is still attached to it.
Yeah, because it's normally plugged in and I'm plugging in the light.
Okay.
So, pizza.
Definition. Go on. You want to do it?
No, it's okay. So according to Wikipedia, pizza is an Italian dish consisting of usually a round, flattened base of how's this
Leavened.
leavened wheat-based dough, topped with tomatoes, cheese, olives, pineapple, meat, etc., which is then baked at a high temperature, traditionally in a wood-fired oven. Small pizza, sometimes called a pizzetta, and a person who makes pizza is known as a pizza pizzaiolo.
Wow, I've never heard of that term.
Yeah, I've
That's
never heard
cool.
of these. So,
Pizzaiolo. Let's just do everything with a hand gesture.
now it says here. Now it says here in Italy, pizza is served in informal settings and presented unsliced and is eaten with the use of a knife and a fork. In casual settings, it's cut into wedges to be eaten while held in the hand. It was at the 10th century in a Latin manuscript where pizza as a term was first recorded in a southern Italian town at Gaeta in Lazio on the border of Campania. Modern pizza was invented in Naples, and the dish and its variants have since become popular in many countries.
Is cool. Sure, I'm thinking. I always ask, what is your first memory of pizza? But I can't. I don't know how to answer my own.
Pizza would be very special events.
Mm,
Because
okay.
during my childhood, pizza was still on the verge of leaving high class restaurant.
Okay.
Shakey's was a big thing at that time. And if you would eat at Shakey's, it was because it was a birthday or it was a graduation. It wasn't like, it's a weekend, let's have Shakey's.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was
a big thing.
We're gonna go out and sit
Yes.
down at Shakey's.
And part of the fascination was back then in Shakey's there was that window where you could watch it being prepared.
I don't remember that.
So we would always go to that window. After we order, we'd all run to the window and we're all watching, and then we'll see them rolling the dough, we'll see them
Okay.
preparing the toppings and all this and that. And it was just a fascinating thing to watch.
Okay. And I see our signal strength is dropping, but we'll try to keep the show going. So, yeah, warning to all. All right. And then, oh, I remember that though. And Shakey's distinctly felt like very like, I don't know.
Shakey's had a look.
And it was dark.
It was
A little
it was a
dark.
darkened place with lots of wood.
Yeah.
They had those almost chandelier like lights. They kind of like had point lighting.
Oh, the sorry, and I'm like gonna see if I can help the internet. I remember it was like pseudo stained glass.
yeah.
things,
They
right?
had those like weird stained glassy red,
But, like,
red and stuff.
with like Shakey's logo
And then they
built
had
in.
those really long tables, right? It was
Mm.
like really long tables. So, um, it was such an experience. It wasn't just grabbing pizza like nowadays. Pizza is literally seen as just junk food. Let's
Yeah.
order pizza for the weekend. Let's just grab pizza at the side. Um, and there was a point that was a bit weird. But again, now we're in a time wherein even sushi is now just fast food.
Oop, and Dennis is here, and he says it was this Shakey's had that old ale house feel. That's a good.
Yes.
That's a good term for it.
Yes.
Feels like a pub.
And that window to watch them prepare the pizza, they also had that outside. So there was that window indoors where you could watch. But then if you were outside in the parking lot, there would be that side where you could watch as well. Because that was the side facing the oven. That
And
was
not-
the hot side.
And not directly related, but I know because of franchises. Then more often than not, there would be like a Shakey's and a Tia Maria's nearby.
That would
It's
be later on.
yeah.
Because when I used to remember going to Shakey's, it was like the corner.
Okay.
It
But to be
wouldn't
fair,
have-
even us, like it always had the corner slot.
Yeah, it
Then
was-
Tia Maria's was like when it showed up with like
Yeah,
had the,
yeah.
the inner slot.
it was a mayabang place that and reservations you had to reserve if you were gonna eat
Because it would
something.
get super busy. It would get super busy. And then Pizza Hut, I don't remember dining in as much for some reason.
I remember Pizza Hut as there's delivery now
When they started.
because that's where they kicked in.
Okay.
It was always we still eat at Shakey's because of the restaurant,
But then Pizza Hut you would
but
deliver.
Pizza Hut would deliver.
And they were like one of the first I mean, and this was later on, after they
Mhm.
started delivery, but they were like one of the first really big delivery hotlines. And oh
Mm-mm.
my god, that super annoying 911
Did you
911
like Shakey's or Pizza Hut
911.
more?
I definitely like Shakey's more
How
because
about you, viewers?
because
Vote in the comments.
yeah, because Pizza Hut, while the toppings were good, I always felt it just way too much crust.
Mm.
And then that and the crust, well, and this is like original Pizza Hut.
Mhm.
So when later on when they started putting cheese in it, then the crust made sense. But the thickness of the crust, even if compared to Shakey's thick crust,
Mhm.
was so much bigger. It was this block of bread at the end of your pizza.
I always preferred Shakey's for thin crust,
Thin crust, yeah.
but I liked Pizza Hut for the thicker crust because it was like you were having breadsticks.
Okay. But I feel like if you dined in at Shakey's, wouldn't they give you bread? It's like but there was a time it had that still that full Italian
They
restaurant
had
feel.
they had the loaf of toasted bread, and then they give it to you with those the
Mm.
small butters.
Okay, and everybody is saying Shakey's. We have a Shakey's crowd tonight.
Shakey's.
All right. So,
And
um,
the pepperoni in Shakey's tasted like pepperoni.
wow.
Whereas
This
Pizza Hut,
is a potentially shady
Pizza
statement.
Hut felt like it was just ham. The ham bits. I don't know. Do you guys remember that? Because I remember it was that sort of a feeling. And
But
then even
okay.
the peppers, the Shakey's peppers, you felt they were bell peppers. The Pizza Hut peppers, they felt like they were like
And it's just a matter of how they cut it,
flakes.
no?
Oh, the
Because
way they cut it.
Shakey's did the half
Yeah,
cut
so
and
you
then
could, so you
crosswise.
still had
So
those
you had the
Shakey's,
shape.
but then Pizza Hut had them as like pellets.
It's super processed and smaller. Okay, okay.
Mitch shares there was a special ratio of crust, sauce, and
I'm
cheese.
sure everybody has like their recipe innovation.
But it was odd because when you watch them prepare the Shakey's pizza, when they put the sauce, it always looks kulang.
It looks very organic. Because it's always the one scoop and then I spread it very
And then you
thin.
could still see the crust,
Yeah.
but then that's enough. Now then they start putting everything, and oh my gosh.
But one thing that and you really felt Pizza Hut pushing in that direction because they were the first in the malls to have the pizza stand,
Mm.
and normally it was attached to the restaurant. So as much as I love Shakey's more, it was more convenient to grab a slice
Yes.
of Pizza Hut.
Because that's where they found their market.
Yeah.
They found their market by
Convenience.
embracing the fast food approach talaga.
Yeah, yeah.
Fast food and delivery was really their selling point. Natalo na lang sila ng Shakey's ulit when Shakey's started having the pizza card thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Na all deliveries, there was like this little system that works, and then free pizza.
Okay, okay. So did you ever get to eat at any like a fancier Italian place?
Greenwich.
Whoa. No.
Okay.
Mitch asking which pizza commercial did the hand toss crust? No, wasn't that a Shakey's thing? It was literally they branded it as there was the pan pizza, but then there
That's the good thing.
mm
And parang, ayoko sa Shakey's manipes. So they had to explain that it was a hand-tossed pizza, and that's why it
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I bought into that logic, but then like I don't know. And then okay, what was the family pizza growing up? Like if you go to Shakey's, what would the order be?
If I remember correctly, it was always a toss-up between, I forget if it was called Meat Lovers or, was it Meat Lovers or Belly Buster? I keep
No, it was Meat Lovers at the time. Belly Buster is
later
na,
on. Okay,
when
okay.
we were ordering.
So there was
na.
that one, and then there was the other one, which was the premium. Tama ba? I can't remember the name. But the Meat Lovers one, kasi was like what we kids would have.
Okay.
But then Dad would want the other one because um, it had olives.
Okay. Jed asking.
Manager special. There you go. That's the other one.
No, it's not. Actually, I'll comment it first. Jed says, I remember the old cheap elementary school canteen pizza. I think we'll get to that in a bit.
But those were yummy.
Says you remember seafood style pizza. I always felt that they were like trickier whenever we come up with a seafood variant. Okay, Mitch, there are two Shakey's pizzas that match your terms. There was Manager's Choice
Manager's choice.
and Shaky Special,
Safety
which is
special.
different. The two were
Yes,
different.
Yes.
And I know growing up, the longest time we would get Manager's Choice for us.
Mm.
But then when the Shaky Special came along, then it's like, oh, because they were similar and yet different. I'm gonna have to look it up
I
now.
will admit, however, that it came to a point I stopped caring about the pizza that would be ordered because I would order bunch of lunch.
We have to talk about Bunch of Lunch. Bunch of Lunch is
Bunch
a
of
special
lunch.
thing on its own.
Bunch of lunch is the reason why we love that set meal in Pancake House because it
Mm.
has that joy of everything magkasama na in one order. There, so the manager's choice was Italian sausage, green bell peppers, and onions with ham.
Yeah, and I'm trying to say, I don't know if the special is still alive. There, Shaky Special. It's beef, Italian
Yeah.
sausage, pepperoni, salami,
So may
mushrooms,
konting dagdag, may salami.
green bell pepper, and
Mhm.
onions. But see there, but because both of them only have green bell pepper as like the accent vegetable, then you confuse the two. And I know later on, it's like the special became like, "Ooh, we like this mix more," and I think it's just because it had more. Uh, no, it's the same amount of meat. It's like
Mm-mm.
ham, beef,
Yeah,
Italian
it's
sausage.
really the ano lang nag-change.
Beef, Italian sausage. Pepperoni salami.
Yeah.
Okay, because the addition of pepperoni salami, then
And
it
some
adds to
didn't
it.
like it because of the pepper. Yung pepperoni had peppers talaga.
It's
Had
sharp,
Pepper,
yeah.
Had peppercorns.
It tasted very deli
Yeah.
pepperoni.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pizza
Alright.
Hut Supreme and Super Supreme. Mm.
Yeah. So and it's funny that the difference between the Pizza Supreme and the Super Supreme was the freaking pineapple. The Super Supreme had the pineapple and a few more ingredients, but then thus I would stay in Supreme because I really and I will go on record. I'm really not a big fan of pineapple on pizza. I will eat it if at the time I would eat it if it is the only pizza that we are sharing. But
Mhm.
then by choice, I would not order anything with pineapple on it.
I don't like pineapple on pizza for the less fancy pizzas.
For the less fancy
So parang
pizza,
if it's just ham and pineapple, I don't like. But if it's like Italian sausage, pepperoni, and then my pineapple, it works more for me because the sharpness of the pineapple works with the saltiness of the meat.
and it kind of blends in
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
as opposed to when it's just the Hawaiian pizza.
And sometimes
it
kasi
super
the
stands out.
ham they use is the sweet ham na.
Yeah.
So parang sweet ham plus pineapple.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay.
Okay.
Urim shares Brooklyn Pizza for Tahanan for gaming nights. That's true. Brooklyn Pizza was a huge. We got like discounts because we'd order like 3 pizzas.
This
on a
is
game
a
night.
super South thing.
But you
I
have
feel.
to remember my gaming group back
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
the thinnest guy in the entire game.
Yes.
So we would order lots of pizza every week.
Okay, so and Jed loves pineapple because it cuts the grease. Okay. In the fast pizza, what do you mean the fast pizza? Okay, well you can explain that when you hear that comment.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Bunch of Lunch. Let's talk about Bunch of Lunch. Bunch of Lunch was an innovation.
So
It
that
was
was
it was a revelation.
it was a bit of a sub. It was a small.
There were
pizza,
2 versions.
and then
Actually, there were later. Well, the official Bunch of Lunch is a spaghetti,
yeah,
a slice of pizza, or 2 slices of pizza. Oh my god, what does it look like now? I wonder. Combo.
so the bunch of lunch original was the spaghetti with garlic bread, a piece of chicken, and 2 pieces of hand tossed Hawaiian pizza.
Well, at the time it was just 2
And
slices
then-
of pizza.
And
Now
then-
it's like
and
forced
then
to be
the-
Hawaiian.
Then the mojos.
Oh yeah, then the 2 mojos
Yeah.
on your
But
plate.
yun nga, it was like it has a little bit of everything na to be happy about in one plate.
Yeah, and then I know when it first came out, it had like friends. It had other variations, but the Bunch of Lunch was still like the best thing. And then super annoying was it was literally only served at lunchtime.
Yes.
You could not order a Bunch of Lunch any other time. So it's like, what the heck? So it was always this rush to be able to go to Shakey's and, have a bunch of lunch during lunchtime.
I can't find them.
Yeah,
anymore,
I
the
know.
old
But I
ones.
remember there were at least 4 variations because I know the one you're talking about with the sub existed.
Yeah.
There was something where it was like
Hero something.
yeah, the Shakey's Hero sub. Okay. And then over time the Bunch of Lunches got smaller because they were trying to hit a price point So the pizza slices started to feel really tiny. The chicken was like okay. The official two mojos you get were smaller mojos. All these things. So I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if I can say vintage bunch of lunch ad. We're trying to find older pictures of the bunch of lunch. Anyway. Wow, cannot
Yeah, I
find
can't find the
it.
old ones na. But there was the salad, chicken, and pizza, the bunch of lunch. Um, the others are just combo meals. That wasn't it. They had
Mm-mm.
cool names for it.
Wow, totally can't remember. Can't find it now because we look for these things live and not like. Okay.
So going back to pizza, someone was earlier asking about Caesars, Little Caesars.
I love little. Okay, when Little Caesars first came out, um, because of my limited history in the US, it was something I gravitated towards because it was a brand that I remember we would order a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And or more probably less order a lot, but more see it on TV. Because it could always be the little animated shorts, which of course are super, appealing to a child. And then they promoted Pizza Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So I must say it that way, Pizza Pizza, which was every pizza you got, it was two and they came in those weird long boxes, which was like so unwieldy. But then really, they were smaller pizzas, but you get two of them at a
Mm-hmm.
time, and thus you would always get pizza. Um, and then I know like even if we would just get the classic pepperoni or the cheese, then it would be okay. And then there was a little Caesars nearby at like East Avenue, and we could just take it out and then bring it home. And super enjoyed it. And then I think a key Little Caesars thing was their take on garlic bread, if I
Mm-hmm.
remember right. Wait, Little Caesars, Little Caesars, Little Caesars. What's it called? What's it called? What's it called? Just give me your menu. Okay. Is it still a thing? I wonder. We're looking at the U.S. Little Caesars, obviously, because they're
Yeah,
no
parang
longer
wala na.
around.
Are they crazy combo? The breadsticks.
Yeah, they were like I know they had these like puffy garlic bread things, but they weren't like just garlic bread. But I don't know. I don't know. Okay,
Other than that, we have Greenwich, of course.
Greenwich was like I was never a super big fan of the pizza. Parang we would always go to Greenwich because it was fast food lasagna.
I preferred 3M
Oh,
over Greenwich.
oh, such
3M, that was the name, right? That
scandal.
was the name.
Yeah,
3M was that.
the school cafeteria
And
pizza.
and they would have that parang metal toaster
and
box thing.
and they would literally just have like that wooden stand, like you
Yeah,
were
eh.
selling
So
lemonade.
parang they'll have stacks of raw pizza. And then they'll just put it in and then cook it and then give it to you and then cook in the next one. Ganun sila. And I remember, especially during school fairs and the like, oh, so much joy.
When they innovated the personal pizza, which was like less than 20 pesos. 'Cause I think in terms of my allowance at the time.
Mhm.
Then it's like, ooh, I could indulge. And it was like, I remember most of the time it was 16 pesos for a personal pizza. What could I do with the $4? I probably buy candy. I don't know.
So Dennis just wanted to add spaghetti, chicken, Mojo's pizza, and garlic bread for the bunch of lunch stuff. Jed does mention they hide a bunch of lunch later on the menu.
Yeah.
Hero Special was the name according to Dennis.
And then he mentions there was an upgrade for soup. I remember getting the upgrade for soup with your
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of lunch. Remember that? And then the milkshakes. Anyway,
Okay. Urim mentions Angel's Pizza. Now, Angel's Pizza
is a lie.
was why
No.
is it a lie?
Okay, we have to go back in time a little, right? Because originally the Dominoes franchise
Mhm.
came to the Philippines.
Yes.
And it was pretty good. I super love the taste of that crust more than any other crust.
Yes.
Like the
'Cause-
crust itself was
Because they,
different.
they had a way of making the cheese become grilled cheesy on that crust.
Mm-mm. And it had a distinct flavor which I can't place
The
my finger on.
powdery,
Yeah.
may powdery feel.
Oh
yung
yeah,
crust
and then the
ng
crust always
Domino.
had like a powder bit.
uh-uh.
Okay, then when the franchise closed, the person who had the stores, so they lost the license,
Mhm.
becomes Angel's Pizza.
And then Angel's Pizza not only comes up with really good tasting pizzas. The spinach one is one of the best. But then
They made their
I know
weird,
some swear for the chicken
yeah,
the chicken one.
but they made their double layered
Their double
pizza
layered
thing.
pizzas are fantastic. And then they push it further pa with if you have the card, everything's buy one take one.
Yeah. So it's a crazy
For life.
proposition that what they've done with for Angel's Pizza.
We had a card thanks to Gaming Library. As odd
Yeah.
as that
Yeah,
sounds.
yeah, yeah.
We had a card thanks to Gaming
Thanks,
Library.
Hans.
But man, we used to really order Angel's Pizza. It went even to the point of at work back prior to COVID when we would be working in an office and it would be a game night or what at work. I would, I'd offer my card and like, let's order. So we'd order 8 pizzas. We'd get 16 and we are happy.
Yeah. So I don't know about, okay, people are asking about the I don't know who owns the franchise. So Jay on YouTube saying that it was under Figaro. I mean, that's fine. It's but basically the same people who held the Domino license previously, then they let go
Yeah.
or lost the Domino license.
So it's sort of like how Arce ice cream um was originally the previous Selecta, if I remember correctly.
Something like
Because
that.
parang Selecta was purchased by Nestle, so it became a different or was it Magnolia Select? I can see. I'm now confused.
Magnolia, then Magnolia closed, and then it became Magnolia Selecta.
Magnolia
then-
Nestle.
Magnolia Nestle, and then eventually,
Selecta showed up.
and then Magnolia spins off.
And then
its own thing.
Selecta, I think they lose the license or what, and then parang Arce appears with parang the flavors were the old original Selecta flavors we love. That sort of thing. There's a lot of that happens behind the scenes,
Yeah.
which is why I always think BGC has a lot of restaurants that are laundering money.
Okay, so okay, people talking about I'm already lost in the conversation. So Mitch helped Crazy Bread was what Little Caesars called their garlic bread.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you very much. And then Jay also mentioned garlic spinach is a very popular variant. So good job, people into garlic. So Domino's still exists, yes. So what now? Someone else has brought in Domino's,
Mhm.
which is crazy. So it's a wholly different franchise owner who
And
has
there
Domino's.
really are I don't know how to call it, trade secret recipes that don't sometimes carry with the brand.
Yeah. So because Angel's Pizza tastes different, and it never tasted like Domino's. In the beginning, there was like a slight, like it's almost pseudo Domino'sy, but then it kind of moved on. And I know, and was just if you really paid attention to where all the Domino's branches were, they all turned into Angel's Pizza. And then the new Domino's person is have to figure out their own network. Okay. Then it's like, wasn't the spinach a dip for Tostitos? So yes, there is a similarly flavored Tostitos dip, but then Angels made it into a pizza. So good job. Although I will admit the spinach tends to cluster in weird places.
Well, I think they made it that way. They really designed it that way because they wanted for me to work there because then you have bursts of the rich flavor because the spinach, the creamy spinach flavor is really strong. If it was like distributed evenly, it would be Umay City.
I only bring this up because although I have never been diagnosed to be potentially obsessive, I just get bothered that you don't have equal number of spinach clumps per slice.
I like it because it's like pimples.
Wow, Toby. Wow, and you criticize me for my pimple popper
Hey!
face.
Seeing something that's yummy and looks like pimples is cute. Actually watching pimples being popped is not cute.
It's therapeutic. It doesn't need to be cute.
It's it's the pain box.
It's just pain. Okay.
Papa John's. Okay, I'm sorry. I never liked Papa John's.
I mean, like it was okay, but I didn't get the value versus the price.
I didn't get the drama over it.
Mm.
Same with
Motorino.
no. Motorino was fine. That was yummy. I used to go there for lunch.
Okay.
The one everyone goes crazy if it's not the pizza, it's the meatballs.
Huh? Which one are we talking about?
Wholesale people buying
Oh,
groceries.
SNR.
There you go.
SNR pizza.
Sorry. I never understood why people go crazy for that pizza.
Yeah, it was like, it says okay to me.
I like Pandesal pizza more than SNR pizza.
Okay, let's go a little obscure. First, in the late 90s, Magoose.
I think I only liked it because it had a funny name. But I didn't particularly like the food.
And it was like notable because they were also in that competing in the square pizza market
Oops, I forgot to.
together with like Pizza. And then I think they had like pizzas with the most olives I have seen in my life
Mhm.
in once upon a time. But I love Magoose pizza. Okay. And of course, just like therefore budget pizza have a try this weekend.
Oh, it was also the first square pizza.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's why because like that was their claim to fame that they did square, and then they even had like special instructions for like dividing. I know the box came pre-perforated,
Mm.
and then you could turn them into individual like plates.
Mm-mm.
So it was crazy little gimmicks like that. But we like
Oh
Magoos.
wow! So it entered the local scene 7 years before Pizza Hut,
Mm-mm.
and 2 years after Shakey's, and then now they're much rarer to find.
Yeah, I mean I super enjoyed Magoos. Okay,
Um, Yellow Cab.
already. Yeah, the biggest revelation of Yellow Cab is that it's an entirely local brand. I think
Mhm.
when it first came out, it felt very
It really tricked you into thinking it's a
felt
New York
very
brand.
fancy.
Very well done
I
marketing.
mean, like
Even the focus on chili flakes rather than the normal
in
hot
colloquial
sauce.
Singapore or whatever, it would be
Um,
like very atas
very
pizza.
very
Yeah.
well done. And then I gotta admit, Yellow Cab made me like vegetables on my pizza.
Okay.
In the past, I'm like, garlic fine, olives good, but I'm not really a fan once I start seeing it look more greeny or more vegetarian. But the deer Darla still remains such a joy. I
Mm-hmm.
remember the first time eating it. There's that initial bite, parang damo. But then it all works out. The balance of the flavors, the richness of the oil, the chili oil.
But I love it that that was not the first time we had a rolled pizza. The
Mm-mm.
first time was still at Uncle Sheffy's.
Yes, which was so expensive, and we were so determined to find more of that opportunities. And wasn't that out of town time where we super like just waited for a table to become available because we
Clark,
were determined.
when we were in
We were
Clark.
determined to eat there.
And it was a fancy restaurant.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and bahala na presyo, but we had to. It was that oh my gosh, I remember that.
What was it called? Now I can't remember.
Avenito or something.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, maybe it was. I can't quite remember right now. Now we're like looking at pizza places. Okay. So a lot of yellow cab people. So before we used to like always get what's this on our own. What did we used to get for yellow cab? Wow, I can't remember because before Dear Darla,
Well,
what
we
did
were
we
more
get?
Sbarro than
No,
Yellow
but
Cab.
Isbara was eating out, but
Because
not delivery.
Yellow Cab would just get anything. Like I would get a single, a slice of something, and then we weren't really, but the Darla was the one that made us happy.
Dear Darla, just the only problem with Dear
We
Darla is
focused.
that we could finish a Dear Darla between the two of us, and I didn't like sharing with other people.
We'd get any pizzas, well, whatever slice I wanted, whatever size I wanted, because we'd share the Charlie Chan.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
Charlie Chan we focused on before.
Okay. Um, Jay complains about the grease, and that's fine. And then Manhattan meat lovers, Mitch mentioned a lot of yellow cab people. Your
Mm-mm.
mentions a love hate relationship with yellow cab. Um, Napoleon Avenito. It probably was Avenito. I think it was Avenito.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
the one in
remember it was
Pampanga.
Avenida.
Then Shakey's truffle veggie pizza. Jed mentions. Okay, and then
I
but
don't
yeah,
like truffles. I'm sorry.
when Dear Darla came out, I was super happy with it. But then yeah, when there are guests, then it has to be something else.
Yes.
Pizza Card started Pizza Math for game nights and trying to make sure that everybody had an equitable number of pizza slices. And I would get into small arguments with pizza delivery people in terms of like how many slices I want this pizza to be to match.
Because they cut it wrong.
Nightmares include deer darlas that got smushed on their any pizza got smushed on their
Yeah.
side because it was put vertically.
But weirder is the deer dollar square cut.
Square cut deer darla. Oh
Why?
my god.
Why would they do
It
that
was
to something they were
so
supposed to roll?
wrong. And it wasn't part of our instructions. So definitely. You probably don't know this one, but in QC we had this thing called Latza pizza.
Okay, I'm familiar with the brand.
Yeah, and it was like a step above 3M.
Mm.
And it was the neighborhood pizza. Because literally you could walk out to Maginhawa and then get lots of pizza, but not a lot of it, just some lot, and then come back. But the crust was like, again, like just a step over 3M. It was like thick but very like instant or mass produced whatever, and just
The
heated up.
konti na lang bread na.
Yeah,
Yung mga
yeah,
ganun.
it's a thing. And then but I don't know, we super got into lots of pizza for a while because it was the pizza you could just go outside for.
Now the joy of pizza is that it's one of the few food that quote unquote stays.
Okay.
Meaning, if you have an all-nighter, it won't go bad. Not like, let's say, pancit
Yeah,
or
that's true.
spaghetti, where next thing you know, you're
It-
about to eat it.
It smells funny
Yeah.
midnight in the middle of the night, yeah.
And then at the same time, it's not so bad cold either.
Like literally fridge cold.
Yeah.
I always felt like a barbarian eating refrigerator
But it
pizza.
still works.
But it's still okay. And
Mm.
actually it becomes a test of like certain pizzas taste better
Mm-mm.
cold. Like admittedly, I think I like Yellow Cab pizza cold more than Shakey's cold.
Yeah. That's
Shakey's
true.
wasn't nice cold. Shakey's I always wanted to heat up.
Mitch mentions pizza is the ultimate hackathon food.
All night
Oh,
coding.
yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
Dennis asking opinion on the extra large size pizza chains that sell the 36 inches. I remember like Fat Boys, whatever.
Yeah.
They
Big-
become very
big boy, fat boy.
they become very popular in the call center
They're
era.
awesome for office stuff, but they rarely really taste good.
They felt like a step below 3M because they were just super spread out.
And some are sadly minsan raw pa ng konti
Yeah, it
yung-
wasn't always even,
But-
and then the
but
crust
again-
was not great.
But again, if you're having a big company, whatever,
It looks impressive in a
and-
photo.
and everyone really cares more about the drinks than the food, then it's a good go-to. Like we would get, let's say, 2 of those large pizzas, and then we'll just spend the rest of our funds to buy beer and alcohol, and people are happier.
Or else it was like an instant, like especially in call centers, it was this instant like team thing, and then I can get I could feed a division
Yeah.
with like 2 of those giant pizzas.
Admittedly, ever since the Angel's Pizza card,
Mm.
we stopped getting those super big.
Oh, and then I think the only other thing, especially at, like Fat Boys, was like their selling point was dips.
Mm.
You remember that? They had dips for their pizza,
Yeah.
which was like it helps hide the fact that it doesn't taste great. Let's smother more cheese or ranch dressing or I don't know barbecue sauce. Because the pizzas in itself were not the best. So I was never a fan of the 36-inch market. It just had, for me, it just looks good in photos.
Oh my gosh! So Mitch mentions hindi siya kasha sa pinto.
It's a valid concern.
But that would be a crazy thing wherein you order that and then you realize you can't get it in.
Then you have to tip it.
But then it'll slide.
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's okay. It's a little hardy cardboardy sometimes, so it's like it'll
we
survive.
have the moment it's down, ala na, people are war because everyone wants to get those outer areas first. Because once you get into the inner ones, minsan parang the toppings are not as
Tsaka, dare I say, minsan lamog. Parang it's damp already from like sitting, which is funny because when I do that something similar with like Yellow Cab, people are rushing to get the middle because the outer part, although it doesn't have a crust, is like a little firmer, so people consume the middle part.
And then we used to like track the different types of pizzas we'll get. And then parang okay, so next time wag na yung mga yon kasi yun yung naiwan. And then
Pizza statistics.
we identify which ones work.
Yeah, like I also had a problem when I would have to we'd order pizza for the office, and like then the safest was getting all meat variants because people had different
we
like.
couldn't because we had vegetarian.
But we had people like who didn't like certain vegetables, and so it was like a minefield of getting anything
Yeah.
with a
We had like
vegetable.
that. We had the
The-
sino yung mga ayaw ng onions?
Then you'll have that growing pile of vegetables on the side of their plate.
I
And
was
like,
the annoying one who would,
I feel
okay, so
sad.
this is the office order. Okay, order an extra medium one for me with anchovies.
Oh, okay.
Because nobody.
That was like it was a thing that when I got Toby into anchovies, and it was like, oh my god. And then so we would before when we would order shakies, the second pizza would be the cheese pizza, but I would ask for extra
Yes.
anchovies, and
The free pizza, the free
the
cheese
free pizza would get upgraded, and then it's super delicious. Okay. Other brands like Motorino, I never got to try. So you got to try Motorino.
So Motorino was nice. Not that it had super fantastic pizza, but one it felt authentic because
Okay.
it was the flaky, mabilis masunog at maburn.
Okay. So that like they'll
So-
have like slightly charred
Oh,
bits.
so it felt very authentic. Second, sucker for a bargain. So they had that lunch set.
Oh, okay. Now I remember why you were eating
And-
a Motorino.
And
Okay, yeah,
when
yeah,
you look
yeah.
at the lunch set, you kind of do get the most out of it with your money. If more so if you are a pair of friends. Because then one can get the pizza lunch set and the other one can get the salad lunch set. But then when you split it, it's perfect.
And Toby's all about making alliances for lunch. Okay. We mentioned it, but we actually haven't really talked about Esbaro.
Mm.
Esbaro was like um
Traumatic.
no. When I was much younger, when Esbaro first came out, it was really this what is this approach to pizza? The pizzas were huge.
I was afraid to eat there because I didn't know how to say the name. I didn't want to embarrass myself.
Mm-mm. And
And it gets worse when you order because it almost feels like you should know what stuff are.
or what the process is.
So when you get there, they look at you and you're like, sige yan. And then they'll get it and they look at you and suddenly go, white sauce, red sauce. And you're like, what? My sauce?
there's so many
What?
choices.
Wait. And I was afraid.
Esbaro came in around the same time that I had watched Home Alone too many times. So I became obsessed with cheese pizzas. And then Esbaro's white cheese
Yes,
pizza
that was fantastic.
still stands out to me. And that's so that we would mainly get that.
But you must season it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I can't take people who just have it without adding pepper and salt, and I'm like, what?
Well, to be fair, when I was much younger, that I was a very purist to that. But it was also because I was emulating like how
Jay
people talked about cheese pizzas.
has the thick pizza pies,
The deep dish.
yeah, their deep dish.
Which admittedly not my favorite.
I
Only
didn't
because
like it also.
yeah, because like it the meat to dough ratio felt off to me.
Can I say this on air?
What?
Parang siyang tira-tira pizza.
Oh my god.
No, because I don't know, but the moment it was a deep dish, it felt like masabaw na siya. For me, compared to, let's say, the double dish ng Angels or the double pizza ng Angels, the deep dish ng Sbarro always felt parang it was a pie that had pizza filling na lang. And that's why I didn't like it. And I know it's just me. I got really used to thin crust more than all the other weird cats.
Oh my god. Okay, and I don't know if people are going to remember. I need help. There was an Italian restaurant on Katipunan when I was growing up. I can't remember the freaking name, but I remember it was the only time I liked deep dish pizza. But I can't remember the name. I don't know. People remember there was an Italian restaurant on the second floor somewhere, and it was pretty good. And I'm looking at nostalgia lists now, and I don't see it. So I don't remember.
Just try Katipunan Italian restaurant.
That's what I did, and then it's giving me modern results. So anyway,
So Jen shares not into
Esbaro.
flavors are so aggressive. It depends on which one, I guess.
And that's why we tend to get the plainer
Yeah, because literally
pizzas.
their maarte pizzas were kind of pizza vomit.
Mm-mm-mm.
Parang everything na lang's in it. Mitch likes the deep dish. Mitch, of course, mentions pizza pandesal, super yummy. Dennis will get to the dessert once in a bit. Um, okay, I guess that's it. We can go to the dessert ones. Wala na palang iba. Okay, so dessert pizza or pizza pandesal. So pandesal and bread pizzas I always enjoyed. They always felt nice. It was always like a hybrid of grilled cheese sandwiches with a pizza feel. Dessert pizzas I never quite grasped. When you have those marshmallow chocolate pizzas or the
I
yeah,
found it.
you found it?
Angelino's.
Angelino's, yes. I remember going to Angelino's.
Angelino's felt a bit more bistro. It felt slightly more upscale, but it wasn't actually super expensive.
Angelino's was like,
But it was a date place.
yun nga, it's the Paddy's Point of pizza places.
What?
In Paddy's Point, you go there to hook up. So Angelino's was the same thing. It was!
I went there as a kid, so I
Viewers,
don't
how
have this
many of you
perspective.
hooked up in Paddy's Point or Angelino's? Well, then again, most of you are younger, so you'll
Yeah,
probably-
they're not going to have a solid opinion on this matter, Toby. Angelino. So the main thing I liked about Angelino's was one, it wanted to feel fancy Italian because it gave you breadsticks.
That's why it's a hookup place.
You know it's fancy Italian when they have the breadsticks.
And that's why it's a hookup place. Because before you order on the date, you can just eat the breadsticks to gauge each other out. And then it's all the come-ons with the breadstick to see kung mag-click.
I went there with my parents. We we went there for dinner on special occasions. That's Angelino's for me.
Well, people celebrate birthdays in Paddy's Point too, but it doesn't still excuse the fact they were hookup places.
But they had good deep dish pizza. They had
Mm.
good deep dish pizza. I found an article and it was on a list of things they miss.
Mm-mm.
It had branches on Arnaes, Jupiter Street, Katipunan. It was built for a family with a menu for everyone. Straightforward Italian. Decor was easy to appreciate. Worked along the lines of Italianis because the cozier ambiance minus the famous free bread. They were pricey, but their seafood buranella, a carbonara by another name, was absolutely worth every centavo. But then they just moved on. But I like their deep dish, and then they had great pasta. I think that's where I first had a squid ink pasta.
Mm.
So okay, then we can go back.
Dessert pizzas. So Dennis
I have not had a
mentioned-
dessert pizza.
Dennis mentioned there's the Nutella with banana pizza. I know there's some naman that have parang it's a marshmallow s'mores type
Oh,
of
okay,
pizza.
okay. I guess that makes sense flavor wise.
I never enjoyed the dessert pizzas.
How come?
It just didn't click together.
Mm.
It wasn't the joy of pandesal and ice cream.
And I think because I think it's also just the size of it.
The size,
Like I don't know if it lends
the
itself well
texture
to a
doesn't
dessert.
work. The crustiness of the crust. Either kasi they'll go for a really thick crust, so parang ang weird na may harang.
Because it's approaching cake.
Yeah. And then there's the really thin ones naman. So then it parang makes you think it's more pie than pizza. Even if they call it pizza pie.
Jed mentions in Cebu they do mangoes on pizza. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So someone is bound to put a mango on a pizza. Okay, but then on the earlier pandesal one, I think with that you get to celebrate all the efforts to make pizza at home, whether with an open pandesal, open pandesals beside each other.
Well, slice naman lang. Slices.
yeah.
halves.
But you would cut partial and open it as an open
Mhm.
sandwich, and then sometimes you put them together and smother cheese across both.
Mm.
Then you'd make a super pizza with two pandesals.
I preferred pandesal pizza. Sorry, I preferred bread pizza with tasty slices and not pandesal. Because for me, when you do the pandesal, you toast it with the cheese. It's more a fake hot potato.
Okay, Toby has a special place in his heart for baked potatoes.
But then the pandesal pizza would then be a square sliced pizza.
What I loved the most though was that my father, and when I say father, I mean my biological
Mhm.
father, when he prepared lunch for me for grade school, he would go through cycles of sandwiches ranging from my butter with sugar, my mayonnaise, whatever. But then on special days, I would get a pizza sandwich,
Mm.
and it was a toasted.
Mhm.
It was toasted bread with like a, and then it
Was it-
cooled
was it-
already.
Was it tomato sauce or was it just ketchup?
No, it was ragu spaghetti sauce in a jar because we fancy. We got that at the PX place.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's tomato sauce. But it's like ooh.
Dennis asks, we don't have anchovy pizza, no? The more specialty pizza places, not the fast food ones, do.
Mm-mm.
I don't think anchovy clicks for fast food.
But it's an additional topping you can request in some places.
Yes. So like sa Shakey's, you can. Yellow Cab, I think meron din yata.
I know they have some
Yeah.
things with anchovies.
Yeah.
It's sadly it's been a while since Toby's been able to eat yellow cab because I don't eat. Okay.
Mitch mentions there's a pizza resto near La Hogue, authentic Italian. Darn, I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Rocky.
I think she meant near lang. Okay.
Near
and
lang,
then
okay.
Noel cites Crocodile and Ostrich pizza. Of course, I didn't eat it, but my colleagues did. They were in Kenya at the time. Wow, that sounds
I
crazy.
think I've tried Crocodile and Ostrich, not as pizza though.
Hmm.
Sa ano, where was that restaurant sa Makati that served Crocodile and Ostrich?
You make it sound like it's something we all know.
No, there is. It was that building that was like this.
Was it a hookup place?
No, it's a mahal place, but it was near the hookup place.
Hookup places are not mahal.
It was near the shrimp Tom Hanks place.
Bubba Gum.
There, it was near that one.
Crocodile Grill.
There,
Sa taas.
I think that was it.
Yeah, yeah.
See,
yeah.
that's why it's not the hookup place, but it's near the hookup place. The hookup place is upstairs, but where there's a lot of dark stuff. Anyway,
Mitch also mentioned Giuseppe Pizzeria in Cebu. Oh, we have never been. So, for the longest time in slum book style situations, my choices for favorite food
mhm,
were either sushi or pizza,
mhm.
depending on what I really wanted. And then for the longest time, I know I would like espouse that pizza is like the perfect food because it's complete. It's in your hand. It's a complete meal in itself. It makes
But
you
it's not a
happy.
mango cream pie.
Okay, I don't think it needs to be a mango cream pie. This is literally an
But it's
apples,
still a complete
apples
snack
and
in your hand.
orange.
Okay.
But then I went keto,
Mhm.
and then it was like weird.
And so far, all the keto pizzas we've tried, save for one,
I
have
mean,
been odd.
they're okay. They're varying degrees of okay, but they're also all very expensive.
Yes, expensive is the sad thing. I think the best one we had was Simply Princess.
Yeah, Princess definitely had the best one at keto.
Then
Super
we
good.
were aware that it was still hitting the macros because she was also
Yeah.
watching.
But then price wise,
Mm.
buying like it's like buying a personal keto pizza is like buying a family pizza.
Yeah, which is why yun nga, I think we should upgrade to just more than bread. We should start trying to make our own keto pizza.
But I'm okay. Like I don't miss
Yeah,
it
but it's
enough
a different
for the
texture.
effort. That's my thing. It's the balance of the effort and the eating.
Yeah.
It's also why like pizza is also like perfect in that sense that you can just order out and then it's fun when it arrives and then it's cool.
If you create your own pizza, what toppings and what would you call it?
I don't know if I'd have to name it. But I can't remember the name now. Wait, I'm trying to find something in Singapore. Okay. In Singapore, we once worked on a social media campaign for a brand called Knickerbockers.
Mhm.
And Knickerbockers was literally a create your own pizza experience.
Okay.
Where you could name your ingredients, name the dough
Okay.
type, whatever. And then it was all personal size pizzas. And it was quite awesome. So then it was like really like make all the hits that you want. And it was a great experience. And I know they were trying to branch here. But then I don't know what happened to that because like it was tricky. And this was like well before the pandemic. So it takes a while. And then I know there was a chain that did make it here that was making their own pizza. What was it called? Oh my god. Didn't we go there? Didn't we make a pizza somewhere?
Yeah, we did.
Right? There
We
was
did.
like a place where we did the whole point thing. Project Pie. Thank
Project
you.
Pie, yes.
Is that still alive? I don't think it is. Is it still alive?
I remember it was a pricey but fun experience.
Yeah, it was just the novelty
And then
of naming your
I
stuff.
think I brought my office mates there. That was in Makati, right?
I remember there was
That
a
was like
brand.
near Eight Cuts or something, if I remember correctly.
Permanently closed na siya.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a build your own pizza.
Yeah.
And then when that came along, it always made me think of nga, na. It's like, oh, it's like our Singapore
Knickerbocker.
client Knickerbockers, and then like then we would celebrate and like, yay.
So what would be a pizza you'd make then?
I don't know now. Like, was this because I still gravitate towards particular pizzas, which is funny. Like I don't the when we used to do Project Pie, it was overwhelming to think of what to put.
Mm-hmm.
And then like there are certain flavors I will always like. Like I like Italian sausage.
Mm-hmm.
I always like Italian sausage. And then um I definitely want a nice big mushroom. And then I would want I love bell peppers on my pizza for that variant. I like olives on my pizza. So things like that. So like there are things that I like. So I embrace variations that people come up on their own and then work with it. Hence like Yellow Cab, like New York's finest is the party pizza. But then we definitely love the Dear Darla, of course. And then there was the previous when it was still like the chicken with lime one.
Mm-hmm.
That was like super light. I love the
That was
balance of
nice.
that
That was a
one.
nice one too.
And then it kind of moved away. And then Shakey's was still like I had a soft spot for Shaky Special, but then Belly Buster became like our gaming fare
Yeah.
pizza because and it was ridiculously like
Protein rich.
heavy for a thin crust and it could barely like hold on to itself because there are so many toppings on it. Okay. Um and then Pizza Hut, I didn't have a particular pizza. And then I don't know. And then Esbarra was the plain cheese ones, and then uh, all these things. So, yeah, so I think of like that's why I remember the names of the pizzas I like. Oh, and then Shakey's gave us Pizza Bianca,
Mm.
which was our first in-person meeting pizza.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, that is how we would celebrate our anniversary.
Yeah.
We would order a Pizza Bianca. Well, not our anniversary, but the day that we first met. This is funny. Um, okay. Vegetarian pizzas, which I think in hindsight now, I came to better appreciate over time that they were pretty good.
I didn't mind them, but I also still felt kulang.
it needs that oomph,
Yeah.
no?
And I
Okay.
think it was Dear Darla that made me realize that one
Quite minimal. Huh?
that snuck in a very good light flavored pizza that worked.
Um, Noel says the garden special greenage is also pretty good, but don't know if they still make them. And then Dennis asks, "Is CPK still open?" That's a good
So
question.
so there was a time that the family was super CPK. It became like the replacement to our go out for shakies for a special occasion thing.
Mm-mm.
But then there was a number of sadly violent events that happened in relation to a location that was CPK. So we don't really go there anymore.
I remember CPK. I mean, CPK always had a fancy feel to it.
We like the salad more.
Plus, it was just plus because it launched. One of the first CPKs was like when they started rebranding Glorieta,
Mhm.
and then like it's like you could watch movies at the new Glorieta 4 cinemas, and then you would go to CPK and go to the Starbucks at 67. It was
Mhm.
like that circuit of like, ooh, Makati upgrading even more than before. All these things. So Dennis is like didn't have a roast duck pizza. I am not familiar enough with CPK's actual menu because we went there so infrequently. Because it was like for us Makati is super far because we were in
Mhm.
QC, and then only go there for special occasions. So yeah, good question. Um, other things. Uh, so yeah, but okay, but hey, if you were to take your stab at creating your own pizza, what would be your pizza stuff?
Definitely more than one cheese.
Oh, okay,
I'd
yeah.
like to have like 3 or 4 cheeses in there.
You always did appreciate the
Mhm.
multiple cheese pizzas.
And then it will need to balance out with a meat. Most likely that'll be bacon. not the sweetened bacon. It
Mm.
has to be
So
the
should it be more prosciutto?
yeah, maybe something like that.
Hand gesture.
Then there must be olives
Ah,
and capers.
okay.
So you have capers, olives, lots of cheeses, and a meat.
Mm.
So I think that's good enough.
Could it just be anchovy?
For me, because if once you have anchovy, then you have to get rid of the bacon. I
Mm.
don't like mixing those two.
Interesting.
I like
Interesting.
I like it's either anchovy or bacon. Oh, maybe it's a split pizza. Half is anchovy, half is bacon, but you don't know which is which
How could you not know?
because it's all smothered in cheese.
What would you call this pizza?
Yum.
Marketing genius right there. Would you like to have a yum pizza? Here comes Jollibee to sue your ass.
Oh, then para hindi, I'll call it the yummy. Yum.me. Mm.
It's Malaysian.
May webpage na siya. Diba?
Noel, kahit anong gulay, kahit ang palaya. Actually, I think there's a way to like really play around with like vegetable pizzas or just balance them with
Oh,
mushrooms.
but was it Darla a vegetable pizza?
I can't remember. I know it had something. Let's look. What's in a Dear Darla? Man, I think we just look at the menu.
No, kasi I remember it was just olives, capers. Yeah, there it had meat. Yeah.
Yeah. It has a meat thing.
No, wasn't this the tomato?
There is a variant of the Dear Darla without. There are two Dear Darlas. Well, actually, there later on there were more.
Wasn't that
when
sun
they were
dried tomatoes
experimenting.
and not meat? I remember it was sun dried tomatoes.
Just look at the menu at Yellow Cab to get the ingredients list. Oh my god, I have to navigate this. Oh no, I don't want to deliver. Just give me your menu.
Ito yung different Dear Darlas. May prosciutto yung iba.
Yeah, it was weird when they tried to up and like they made Dear Darla variants. Variants, quash the variants.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, they really don't describe what's on their pizza.
Yeah, and then yung nga, there were the variants that had prosciutto and the stuff. You know, my chicken version, my original Dear Darla. The Dear Darla smoked prosciutto was just different one.
Okay, so um, Mitch helps and says she could name it the Nom Nom Pizza instead of Yum.
Mm.
Jed says his would be a thin crust, toasted in some parts, sauce, garlic, cheese, truffle, arugula, and alfalfa. Okay. And then, dearest Jed, yung pangalan. Fine, Jed. Okay. Uh, Dennis asks everyone, stuffed crust, yes or no?
I only like stuffed crust when it was actually cheese inside.
You didn't like the surprise hot dog?
No.
There's a hot dog in my crust. Um, was this? I think was this? I didn't mind it, but
I didn't look for it.
yeah, and then the cost, the parang the value to cost whatever ratio for me didn't pay out.
Mhm.
Like the how much it cost to upgrade your pizza to a stuffed crust pizza, wasn't worth it. Plus, it meant I would have to order from Pizza Hut. I didn't want to order from Pizza Hut.
And it really felt like, they knew people throw away the crust, so they had to try to trick you into eating.
Yeah,
it.
but which was like they created their own darn problem because, like we said earlier, Pizza Hut crusts were like notoriously thick. Sometimes they were like more than an inch thick,
Mm-mm.
and like what is going on with this crust? So it was just crazy. Okay. Ing says cheese stuffed crust, yes. Sausage stuffed crust feels like they're skimping on toppings. Of course, Noel said he'll name his "What's the meaning?" because when you taste it, that's what you're going to say. It's that ampalaya that kills it. Okay. So yeah, so then stuffed crust always became like it's cool if someone else orders it, but I didn't want to pay for it myself. No edge pizza, Master Race says Ing. But you wouldn't have to deal with your no edge problem if you didn't create ridiculous. Because wasn't Pizza Hut also was a no edge?
I don't get no edge pizza. How different was that from thin crust? Or it just kasi thin crust was agad naman to the edge then
Because
toppings lang eh.
they just created their own. They just solved their own problem. That's
They
what
just try
that's what
to
I'm saying.
give it. They just try to give it a brand
Yeah.
because that's what thin crust pizza looks like. Also,
It's marketing. It's all marketing. Yellow cab ang no edge sabi. Yeah, and yellow cab also barely had a crust on it. But you could tell which ones were at the edge, and then everybody avoids them when we're in a group setting in the office or whatnot. Ah, and I know like what's this? And then pizza always made more sense for like, hey, it's someone's birthday and we're gonna celebrate an event. My cost per person was better with pizza than with than like buying chicken wings or
Mm.
something. The average cost per person was so much better. And so I understand why in my call center life, in my office life, it's like when in doubt, buy pizzas for people because it just makes more sense mathematically. Okay. Square slices versus pie slices, asked Ings. I don't mind the pie slice if we're not sharing.
are if we put everything equal, meaning you have the
The area.
the area of a square of a pie slice, and then you have a square slice na ganun din kalaki yung area. Then I wouldn't mind the square slice because it's still fun. You can then fold it or whatever. But I think the pie really just works because it's already tapered for your mouth and then it's wide for your hand. So it's like, yeah. It's kind of like the ice cream cone wherein it's a delivery system already built for eating.
Jay says there are eight of you at home, so square cuts are easier. Okay,
Mm-mm.
okay. Then I guess this episode can't get by
Here we go with the
where
math.
we talk about pizza math.
So there was a point in time in our gaming nights when we used to play with people that we would use a whiteboard to map out our
Okay,
pizza order.
we didn't always have to use a whiteboard. People just need to keep track of their slices. So, in ultimate fairness, we would figure, we would decide on getting pizza for dinner. It was more economical, especially if some people were a bit more budget conscious, but it was a good meal. But for it to be fair, let's all have the same number of slices. Therefore, depending on the pizza outlet we were going to, I could determine how we're gonna go. So when Jay mentions there are eight of us at home, actually, I don't understand what your problem is because the family size shakies are typically cut into 12,
Mm-mm.
and then the smaller one is cut into 8.
Mm.
So they're both divisible. That you get. Oh, there's for the eight of you. Sorry, I was thinking of in numbers of fours. So if you could get multiples of pizza so that everybody has a similar number of slices. But yes, admittedly, when we get to weird numbers,
So if they get two, they'll get three slices each.
thereabout, yeah. But then you'd want to balance it out more. I would probably need to get four to feel comfortable with
No,
your.
because there are eight of them.
No,
and
but you want
a
them to.
box is
But
12.
you want them to have an equal number of each flavor.
So you can't have three slices. You must have four.
Yeah, so then you'd have to get four pizzas, and then so that's 12 times 4. It's 48. Then it's a multiple of 8. And then everybody gets 6. Okay. So but I only imposed this when we would do pie slices.
Mhm.
So the way to break it was that if we would order like the
Square
really
cut.
big yellow cab, the 18-inch, and then we get square cut, and then for some
We
reason
don't think
it
about
doesn't bother me.
it
It doesn't bother me as much.
because it's square.
Although really they're rectangles.
It's not anymore around.
What? You're approaching a pun. Okay. So there was that. And then
Mm.
this is not without its horror stories. Like the time that for some reason the Shakey's branch that catered to us for years and years gave us a party size with 10 slices.
Mm-mm.
And like, what were you thinking? It's harder to cut into 10. How did you cut into 10? And I wanted to complain. Or so
Or that time that we got the super thin slice.
oh, some were like
Kasi
thinner than
parang
the
they're chopping and then parang
and then
minadali yung last
and then they
few.
forgot and then they cut one in half and like So for a time, like my pizza delivery orders would include reminders. Please cut into 12. Please cut into So, but yeah, and then we literally had a marker on the whiteboard. Toby, because okay, because I told everybody that okay, everybody you get 2 slices per pizza, and then like there will be people asking me how many do I get again, and then then Toby just like built a grid on the whiteboard, and then like this is where you are on the number of pizza slices you get.
Okay, how do you feel about calzones?
Depending on the branch, they're fun, but then like they're always messy, and then it's like I don't know why it feels like it's way too much carb. The carb ratio
Mhm.
breaks. It becomes too bready for
It's
me.
like, sana nag-saucer sandwich ka na lang.
Mm.
Because it has the same feel, diba? That same toasted bread. And
Yeah,
then sa
yeah.
loob yung filling.
But it's like the thickness of a pizza,
Mm-mm.
and it's like a thick crust because it had to hold everything. So not always fun. Not always fun. Okay, yeah. So I like square cuts for big groups where I don't have to count how many slices you're eating. Because I think it's also because I have never stopped to count how many slices they make.
Mm-hmm.
I think the moment that I lock into my head how many slices are in a square cut yellow cab pizza, then that's it. We're doomed. We're doomed because I'm gonna then argue that everybody should eat like a quadrant, and then so that you have everybody has an equal amount of like the crusty curve and
Or,
whatever.
or we could like Sudoku it.
What?
So when the pizza arrives, I'll mark each square with a number. And then you can only eat your number. So you can only eat the ones, I
You
can
could
only eat the
achieve the
two.
same thing if I just assign quadrants. But then if I'm assigning quadrants, we might as well get a sliced pizza.
But then when you look, and then, oh, may butas na dito. You can compute. And, si 3 yan. So, si ano kumain yan.
And I've had so many cases where like we're eating and then and then I'll be looking and then I'll stare at Toby, who didn't eat their blah 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 pizza, and then Toby's like, what? The math is important. So this is like an old gaming problem. But then by going keto, I have removed myself from the pizza equation,
Mm-mm.
and therefore I let everybody now just eat their pizzas in peace like barbarians and not care about distribution. I just watch and see the uneven pizza consumption.
And then all the leftovers we keep.
Uh,
And I struggle through for the next few days.
Lalo na when you go Angels and then you have these 2 or 4 big pizzas, and then the people who visited the game will be so like, ano, that's a okay, treat namin, and then you can have the leftovers, and then Toby's left with a huge Tupperware of like mostly
Mga two
crust.
Tupperwares. Mga
It's
two
mostly
Tupperwares.
the crust parts because they ate the middles, and then it's just funny.
All right. So to wrap things up, ayan, si Noel magsha-shower na raw.
Mm. Mitch, parang narinig ko na si Rocky asking who hasn't eaten their pizza. This is a typical question in the game night. Yes, yes.
So to wrap it up,
Okay.
are there are there are there reasons we haven't really explored more keto options in terms of experimenting and finding our bread mix? Because the bread you create now is not far from bread. The texture is nicely there
Oh,
compared to the ones we've purchased,
Mm-mm.
which are like
It's just still not bread.
parang cornbread yung natatry na pandesal bread pan approach compared to the other bread we've had.
The challenge kasi it doesn't rise.
Yeah, but yun nga, making the bread you made and then lagyan na lang natin ng keto based toppings. Because I don't know what will replace the tomato sauce.
Yun nga eh. There are so many things about pizza that are not super keto friendly. Then it just I just get tired. And then I feel that way about many things. So like
Kasi hindi pwede spaghetti. Hindi pwede tomato sauce. Hindi pwede cheese, cream based.
yeah, nothing creamy. And then which is like all the fun stuff. I mean, you can still make a pizza and still have a lot of fun with it. And that's why we every now and then we support. But then like when we get the sugar-free bakery pizza, it's like only if I'm like super hankering for pizza, but then it's not a happy pizza because it tastes like a biscuit. I don't know because the crust because when it's almond flour is flaky something and
Mm-hmm.
not the right kind of flaky. I feel like I'm eating a confection on Sugar Rush, and things like that. So, bleh.
And then I guess to close, flatbread pizza. Wasn't there parang a place we had na parang they used something closer to flatbread? Yun yung parang thin crust nila.
Mm-mm, which I think is like in the same family as like the Avenitos and the Dear
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Darla worlds, and which is cool. Um,
Kasi it was sobrang, it breaks apart, di ba? When you eat it. So parang ang nipis-nipis niya to become that crunchy taste.
oh, I sure people have like are talking about when did you last have pizza? Like
Mhm.
3 weeks ago. Dennis had Shakey's last night. Uh, Sibo flatbread. I honestly I've never eaten at Sibo. I've somehow not eaten at Sibo ever. It's weird. Um, yeah. So it's just like, which is when the I just going back to like the when the cost like and when I appreciate the cost of keto pizza versus what I get versus the flavor I get, then I'm like not worth it. Not as fun. And then like I'd rather invest my money in other places. And then I feel like every now and then there are keto things like the cost ratio doesn't work for me and I abandon it because it's just not great. And then I don't know if I want to uh experiment on my own and like make stuff. So I miss it, but not enough to like be fully
Mhm.
invested in it. Keto Amazing was definitely a great pizza,
Mm.
but then like it was also mainly like because I wanted to support her
Mhm.
business because it's a friend. Um, but then like all things being equal, I wouldn't. I no longer need to go out of my way to look for pizza.
Jed, I don't get the truffle greens Shakey's pizza. I'm looking at it now. It says healthy and flavorful truffle pizza, topped with tomatoes, olives, mushrooms, and feta cheese. So where's the truffle?
Is it an oil lang that they add? I don't know. But again, we're the people who don't understand the point of truffle
Yeah,
flavoring
but I know
added to
I'm
things.
thinking maybe I should try ordering this para mag-gets ko. Maybe I'll taste it this time. Because I still don't get.
Truffle just tastes umay to me. There's like that aftertaste thing, but I don't like appreciate it going in. Ings had pizza today. I notice you because I know you're also supporting like a particular pizza thing, and you tend to get like a lot. So good job for you.
Lots of vegetarian stuff, no?
Mm-mm. So yeah. So I mean like, but again, continue to enjoy pizza on my behalf. Uh-huh. I so it's funny like since before it used to be like my slumbook answer for like I super love pizza, but then now it's like I'm surprised that I have moved on from it and I don't have that. Dennis asking the mushroom, yeah, truffle the mushroom, um, and all these things. So I'm just okay. I'm like it's weird. Keto has really changed my perspective on many things. When you move away from carbs that long, then a lot of foods stop being as fun. It's like me and ramen and pasta. At least pasta I can have again, but um, things. Okay. Anything else, Toby?
I'm good. I think that's all for me as well.
Okay. So we don't have an episode tomorrow. We're back
Mm.
to pretending to be vampires. I'm very excited. But then on Thursday, what are we talking about on Thursday? We'll be back on Thursday, and we're doing. Oh my God, what show? What show? What show? We're supposed to do a show. Haven't memorized our topics, and here I am prompting. One moment. I'm
There,
loading.
Tintin.
Oh yeah, we're doing the Adventures of Tintin as a franchise on Thursday. Hooray! And then Friday. Friday, we're just gonna talk about what we would be doing. if it weren't quarantine, and how would we celebrate birthday?
Friday is
Oh,
our.
it seems frozen. Oh no! I have too many tabs.
No, it still seems to be moving here. I guess it's just your monitor. Yeah, see, we're still moving. Okay, so we'll wrap up. But yeah, hope you guys can join us on Friday as we celebrate Rocky's quarantine birthday.
I just can't interact with the stream. I can't end the stream. Oh wait, okay, the tab finally changed. Okay, yeah, okay, my interface is back. All right, all right. It's like it's still broadcasting, but I couldn't move anything. All right, so for questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill up the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. We're gonna get back to the suggestion queue. I promise. I know we've been like throwing in a lot of our original topics recently. You can follow us on Twitter, all Toby No Shade or RG Suniko.
You could also check out our blog, baduypray.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below. What are your favorite pizzas? What are your least favorite pizzas? Like the ones you're never gonna do again. Let's keep talking. And be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is Baduy Pride. Good night, everyone.